The coach demanded an apology from my son but left in handcuffs 20 minutes later. I got the call from the school at 2 in the afternoon while I was at work. The athletic director said my son Liam had an incident with Coach Brennan during basketball practice, and I needed to come in immediately. My stomach dropped because Liam had never been in trouble before. He was a sophomore on varsity and lived for basketball. I told my boss I had an emergency and drove straight there. When I walked into the athletic director's office, Liam was sitting with his hands folded in his lap, and his right eye was swollen purple. Coach Brennan stood by the window with his arms crossed, looking smug. The athletic director Jeffrey gestured for me to sit and explained that Liam had been disrespectful during practice, and when Coach Brennan tried to correct him, Liam shoved him. I looked at my son and asked if that was true. Liam's voice cracked when he said that wasn't what happened at all. Coach Brennan cut him off, saying Liam needed to learn respect for authority. Jeffrey nodded and said the school had zero tolerance for violence against staff. I asked about Liam's black eye, and Coach Brennan said that happened during a drill before the incident. My son looked at me and shook his head slightly. I pulled out my phone and texted Liam's best friend Kyle, who was on the team, asking what really happened. Kyle texted back immediately saying Coach hit Liam first and everyone saw it, but Coach made them lie or they'd be benched for the season. I showed the text to Jeffrey and his face went pale. Coach Brennan lunged for my phone, but I pulled it away. He started yelling that Kyle was a liar and I was believing my delinquent son over a respected coach with 15 years of experience. Jeffrey held up his hand, saying we needed to calm down. He suggested Liam write an apology letter and accept a 3-day suspension, then this could all go away quietly. I stood up so fast my chair fell backwards. My son is not apologizing for being assaulted by a grown man. Coach Brennan's face turned red and he said boys will be boys and sometimes physical discipline is necessary to build character. I told him to repeat that because I wanted to make sure I heard correctly. He said a little physical correction never hurt anyone, and Liam was being dramatic about a minor altercation. Jeffrey jumped in, saying the school's insurance wouldn't cover legal action and maybe we should all take a breath. I pulled out my phone and called 911 right there in the office. Coach Brennan started laughing, saying I was wasting time because the police would side with him. He had connections in the department and this would go nowhere. Jeffrey begged me to hang up, saying we could work this out through proper channels. The dispatcher answered and I reported an assault on a minor at the school. Coach Brennan stopped laughing. Jeffrey's hands shook as he asked me to reconsider because this would create a huge mess. I told him that should have been his concern when his coach was hitting students. 2 officers arrived within 10 minutes. The younger one took my statement while the older one asked Coach Brennan to step outside. I showed them Kyle's messages and they photographed Liam's eye. Liam explained they were running a defensive drill and he missed a block. Coach Brennan got in his face screaming, and when Liam tried to walk away, Coach grabbed his shoulder and punched him in the face. Then Coach claimed Liam shoved him first. The officer asked about security footage and Jeffrey said the gym cameras had been broken for 2 months. The officer raised his eyebrow and wrote that down. He asked if we wanted to press charges and I said absolutely. Jeffrey stammered about school reputation and handling it internally. The officer told him assault on a minor was criminal, not a school discipline issue. He radioed for Coach Brennan to come back inside. When they walked in, the older officer said 3 students had just come forward saying they witnessed Coach Brennan strike Liam first. Kyle had texted the group chat and several players decided to tell the truth once police were involved. Coach Brennan's face went white. He said those kids were lying because they were mad about playing time. The officer said that was interesting because the students gave statements separately, and all 3 described the incident identically. He asked Coach Brennan to place his hands behind his back. Jeffrey jumped up asking what was happening. The officer said they were arresting Coach Brennan for assault on a minor. Coach started yelling that this was ridiculous and he was being targeted for doing his job. Boys need tough coaching and everyone had gotten too soft. The officer clicked the handcuffs and told him he had the right to remain silent. As they walked him out, Coach Brennan looked back and said, I was ruining his career over nothing. I told him he ruined it himself when he decided hitting kids was acceptable. Coach Brennan was charged with assault and lost his teaching license. 6 more players came forward about previous incidents. The school settled with us for $75,000 and Jeffrey was demoted for covering it up. Liam made captain his junior year under a new coach who actually knew how to teach without violence.